When We Were Young, 2024, all album plays. 57 records in total being played on stages across Vegas.
Across the Vegas Festival grounds.
Across the Vegas Festival grounds. They're playing 57 records, and we here at the Emo Social Club are reviewing all 57 records. One a week, sometimes two a week. On this episode, we are talking about Simple Plans, no pads, no helmets, just balls.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's a better way you can
No, there
say
isn't
that.
another way. I always like how people like shorten it to exclude the balls part.
Yeah.
But I really think it's pivotal to understanding Simple Plan.
Keep the balls in there. Before we get into our opinions on this record, Lizzie, give us a little bit of background on Simple Plans, No Pads, No Helmets album.
Okay, so it came out March 19, 2002. The singles that came out of here were I'm Just a Kid, I Do Anything, Addicted, and Perfect. So literally all the bangers that we pretty much know and listen to. This was their debut album on Atlantic Records. So because this was like the first big punch of like pop punk into the mainstream, a lot of these bigger record labels that absolutely would never now touch these types of albums are saying, let's get our let's get our heads in the game. Let's keep going in.
Get me one of those Simple Plans.
Give me one of those little guys
Give me one
over
of those
there.
Blink-182s.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And with that in mind, there was a lot of mixed reactions because they were like, this sounds like Blink-182.
Yeah.
This peaked at number 8 on the Canadian alternative album charts. And it was certified double platinum up there. They debuted at number 35 on the Billboard Top 100 here, Top 200 here in the States. And I'm Just a Kid went platinum here as well.
Let's go ahead and let's talk about our feelings on this record. But before we do, we are going through every record being played at When We Were Young. So if you want to make sure that you see our review of your favorite record being played at the festival, subscribe at the little button below. Just click it, tap it, hit it with your finger, so that you are subscribed to the channel when all these videos go live. And we're going to get to yours eventually if we haven't already. There's already a playlist up there, so make sure you check it out, I guess. If you're subscribed, that's how you know when things happen. So thank you in advance for subscribing, and we appreciate it. Lizzie, tell us your thoughts on Simple Plans, No Pads, No Helmets, Just Balls.
So No Pads, I hadn't listened to this album in a fully in a really long time. I obviously listened to Simple Plan like normally. So when I was re-listening to it in full, I was like, oh wow, yeah, this is like quintessential what you would say this is pop punk. You would give it to like an Alien and you would say like this is pop punk, and then you got Blink-182 in there too. So that's kind of what I felt about it. And that's not like good nor bad with it, and I think people want to make it either or, but it could just be what it is and exists. I love Simple Plan, and I've heard them play obviously the hits off of this. I think like some things that do stand out to me is one, Grow Up. I think for me that's just one that's always been with me, and I only know it because of Disney Skateboard. And I did like The Worst Day Ever because it's just like that exactly what you expect from this. Like that's the only thing you're just like, I like that shit, that whiny shit. And again, that's not a bad thing. We all like this whiny emo music, okay? And you don't mean anything. And I think that it is what it is. I like it. It's not anything to write home about, but I think my top ones are more fun. Listening to this as an adolescent, it obviously hit different because it's more straightforward to 14, 15-year-old Lizzie trying to navigate things, where 29-year-old Lizzie is like, yeah, I can listen to like other stuff that like can really exude what I'm trying to get through in a more adult way. My least favorite, and it wasn't like just because they were like bad, was God Must Hate Me, My Alien, ironically, and One Day. It's just, they're like closer to the end of the album, and I think they try to wrap it up, but it doesn't. It's cohesive, but it doesn't like really do anything for me. I can see what they're doing. They're trying to put a bow on it. Yeah. So I feel like here it's like they wanted it to keep going, and it was like, you don't need to keep going. It's okay to stop. I feel like overall this for the time was in line with what was popular, what made sense.
Let me tell you what I think about Simple Plans, No Pads, No Helmets, Just Balls. I never really got into this style of pop punk. I never really liked, it took me a long time to even get to like Blink-182. I always thought that they were just this immature kind of joke band that, I don't know, it just wasn't really interesting to me. I didn't think the songs were very good. And so Simple Plan just kind of on the same tip. It's just like, all right, like you're singing about, oh, I'm a kid and life's really hard.
I'm sad.
All the time. Now listening to this record and knowing that's kind of the vibe of the record, yeah, it's still just that. Still just immature kids. You know, I'm having a real hard time living my life. It's like, cool, man. We got anything else? Like, nope. This is just for those teenagers who are having trouble existing.
That was you at one point.
It was, but like if I listened to something that was so specific to that, I would be like, I want to escape it. Like this seems like it's somebody writing music for people who don't experience it. Like this is specifically so
this is
you
for
can
the
learn,
normies.
yeah, what this is like. I didn't really feel strongly about this record beyond the singles that we know that I have definitely warmed up to over time. I feel better about the singles now and Simple Plan now than I ever have. But I wouldn't say that there's any like standout tracks beyond the singles on this for me. My top 2 tracks.
Oh shit!
I couldn't
Brian.
even pick 3. I'm Just a Kid. I've obviously come around a lot to this song because of TikTok and the memes around it, and it is a lot of fun to like sing with your friends. And it's turn your brain off and just have a good time type music, which obviously there's a time and a place for. And I think the farther we've gotten from like the release of this record and the more that we're aware this record is just being very depressed about all this stuff to pop punk songs is like, yeah, now I can understand that and have fun. This is very much that nostalgia feeling of like, remember when we were like sad all the time in high school and it's like, haha, yeah, in high school. And then you turn around, you're like, and today. So I've come around a lot on I'm Just a Kid. I feel a lot better about it now than I ever have. And Addicted is another one that I feel a lot better about. I still think that song is dumb. I think I couldn't pick a third top track. I guess if I had to, it'd probably be Perfect. Just because it is, again, just really fucking dumb.
What do you have
sad.
you never just sat in a corner and cried?
You're not
to
understanding
Perfect?
it. You're not understanding it. There are songs that you can cry to. This is a song about sitting and crying to a song. It just is a song that is for that instead of being a song that was written as a song and then people go, oh, this is, I identify with the feelings and emotions in this and I end up doing that action. It's like you could just write a song like that is good and sad and makes you cry, but is not about sitting and being sad and crying.
But I just think it's just so, it's simple. It just
Plan.
like is what it is. Yeah.
It's a simple plan.
It's a Simple Plan song.
Boys,
actually.
the plan is simple. We write songs about being sad. People get sad. They listen to them and they cry.
And then we have no pads and no helmets.
No pads.
Either. Just balls.
My least favorite tracks. You said worst day ever. It is The Joke. It's The Joke.
Yeah, it's the joke.
That's The Joke. There's so many songs on this that do the same thing, but worst day ever to me was the standout of like, this is just the fucking joke. This is the, oh, I'm having a hard time joke. And fine, but I'm not really interested in listening to this song ever again. My Alien, my note says,
Okay,
what
so
the
we're
hell
here.
is this?
Okay, so we're both there.
What the hell is this?
Homie, I wish I could tell you.
It was annoying. The lyrics were weird. I'm like, why are you talking about an alien? Like, this is like so Blink-182 coded.
Well, yeah, because aliens exist. That's
Yeah,
what I
but,
like
like,
first think about it.
There is no meta joke here. You're just copy and pasting it in some ways. There's obviously things that here are copy pasted genre style shit, but it's not like copy pasted the whole concept. In this case, you're like, no, I'm copy pasting it, change the name of my homework so it doesn't look like mine. It's like,
Yeah.
It looks the same. There's a bunch of those songs like that on this record that really just hit me like that. It still hits me like that. It's not tongue in cheek to me. It's just a little too on the nose about all this stuff. It doesn't feel authentic. It feels like it's taking from these other ideas and creating it. But there are some really good moments. The singles are really good. They're really fun. It's very good to turn your brain off and just sing along and have fun. And there is a time and place for that. And I do like those songs on this record. But then it's just, okay.
It's just
we're
not
done.
it
We're
afterwards.
done.
I mean, again, like it is what it is, and it's a product of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And
It certainly is.
I mean, it left them to be able to do a lot more.
I'll say it this way. It's a product of the time, but it's a product of other products of the time. So Blink-182 didn't go in and say, we're going to create this style of music because of this. They worked together. They made the music they made together. They were obviously inspired by things, but they created something that then created other products of the time. Simple Plan is a very specific product of that time. Like, oh, you're doing this thing, we're also going to do that thing. And it's like, you're not inspiring something new. You're not influencing something else. You're literally just taking from what is already done and filling a niche versus creating new things and new inspiration for the next thing that comes. Anyway, that's what we thought about Simple Plans. No pads, no helmets, just balls. But there are other people out there who had other thoughts, other opinions, who may be really interested in seeing this record live. So I found some reviews from Amazon. Okay. Lizzie, you found some Critic reviews.
I did.
Let's go ahead and give some sense of how other people felt about this record. Here is a review from Amazon from Tom P., the Underground Navigator.
Ooh.
This is from April 12th, 2016. Pop Punk Masterpiece is the title of this review.
Oh, so he disagrees with you, it sounds like.
I try to find balanced reviews. Traditionally often overlooked and seemingly overshadowed when compared to the contributions of both the US and the UK, it turned out to be the great nation of Canada that was the undisputed hotspot for punk rock music in the early 2000s. First, there was the breakthrough of Toronto's Sum 41, followed eventually by that of a previously unknown 17-year-old from Napanee, Ontario, named Avril Lavigne. What these great young artists did was serve to lift our spirits out of the doldrums after lingering solemnity of the events of 9/11 and back to enjoying an especially fruitful period for real rock and roll once again.
Wait. I really need you to backtrack there real fucking quick.
One of the most unquestionably talented outfits to spring forth from north of the border during this era, though, was Montreal's Simple Plan. They seem to take the basic framework of the earlier success of the aforementioned Sum 41 and yet add a whole new tangent all their own to the sound. Indeed, the fact that Simple Plan's harmonies are as memorable as anything by the Beatles is a testament to the meticulous hard work that went into crafting these songs. I could, at will, hum the melodies to any of these 13 cuts. Almost all the other songs on the record are equally stellar, making for a euphoric listening experience that can serve to lift one's spirits. Again, something we all desperately needed after September 11th. Add to that the decidedly self-deprecating lyrics throughout and an overriding sense that these guys don't take themselves too seriously, and you have a fabulous, very approachable group whose personalities as lovable losers shine strong for the duration of the disc's 46-minute runtime.
Can we talk about that?
I don't know how they managed to mention 9/11 twice. This next review is from Simon Omnes. It's a 2-star review written April 1st, 2012. The title of the review is "One Must Not Judge a Book by Its Cover, but Then Again." During the last couple of months, I heard of this French-Canadian group called Simple Plan that has been, over the last decade, very successful in the music industry. Wondering what all the fuss was about, and after seeing a couple of their video clips and promotion spots on YouTube, I decided to listen to their first CD, entitled No Pads, No Helmets, Just Balls, even though the CD cover didn't impress me. Indeed, it sort of made the group selfish and extremely immature as you see them acting like teenagers, partying all the time, and making a mess out of some hotel suite. Of course, one must not judge a book by its cover, but still, the cover gave me pretty good hints to the contents of this album, especially in the lyrics, which revolve around 3 main topics: getting the girl, every day is the same and life sucks, and my parents don't understand me. Now, some people would find my comments harsh and ill-founded, considering this group's success and how a certain fraction of teenagers love this music. But that's also another problem of this album. It tries too much to grasp teenagers and doesn't try to connect with other age groups, something that the Beatles, the Smiths, Queen, the Cranberries, or Oingo Boingo have managed to do. Now, of course, those groups have nothing to do with punk music or punk pop, and Simple Plan doesn't need to copy their style. But those groups knew how to diverse their subjects, and this is something that Simple Plan should take note, because one day, the kids who listen to their music will grow up and will have more important things to talk about than getting laid with the most beautiful girl in school and repeating again and again that life sucks without saying exactly why it does sucks and trying to do constructive things instead. You know, these kids are going to grow up and they're not going to want to listen to this anymore. And here we are when we were young, 2024, 12 years after this review was written.
I mean, some people do really want to like re-listen to it, which is fair and understandable, and like really love Simple Plan. I like Simple Plan, but this was obviously, I don't go back and listen to it all the time. Right. The singles, yeah.
Singles are fine for a re-listen, but clearly it's like, well, kids are going to grow out of this. It's like, yeah, it hasn't worked out that way.
It's like you thought.
I've found a lot more positive reviews generally. A lot of the negative reviews were just saying probably what you'll see in the Critic reviews, I'm sure, as well, where it is just immature and people just, are saying the same things that I was saying. But Lizzie, you found some Critic reviews.
Oh, I sure fucking did.
Why don't we get into some of those?
This first one comes from Rolling Stones from John Caramancia and gave it 2 out of 5 stars.
Yep.
At a time when Sum 41 are considered transgressive, their fellow Canadians, Simple Plan, slide undetected into the punk pit. But while the boys might be angsty, they're far from alienated. No Pads offers clean, pleasant rebellion that knows nothing of John Ashcroft and everything of Ashanti, and Michelle Branch and Vanessa Carlton. Like the rest of the new punk brigade, Simple Plan insists on balancing their immaturity with excuses for their immaturity.
No, there's a lot of lyrics where it's like, God must hate me because I stole the car and like ran it into a tree or whatever they say. And it's like, dude, you're describing something that you caused to yourself. And this is why this generation has had a hard time healing, is because they're not looking at themselves in the mirror when these things are happening to them, and they're blaming God.
Are we really getting introspective about no pads, no helmets, just balls right now?
I'm getting introspective about how this has harmed a generation.
This one is from IGN by JR. Unfavorable. I don't care how much of a connoisseur of fine music you may claim to be. Sometimes you just want to cast all pretensions aside and kick back with a disc full of silly, dumb, largely inconsequential tunes. The darkest depths of my soul were being unceremoniously dredged by this sinister band from hell, a feeling only reinforced by the confidential title of the disc's third track, You Don't Mean Anything. It was almost as if I was being challenged, nay, dared to proceed.
I'm daring you to keep listening to this record.
Like, you read it and you're like, oh, like, I don't see why it's unfavorable. Then they go into it. I'm like, you know what? I feel like saying that this is basically your soundtrack as you descend into hell is like,
that's crazy.
I think that's a stretch.
Yeah.
That is a stretch. Because it's not. There's 10 times worse bands out there.
There are definitely worse bands than this.
There's way worse bands than that.
There are definitely worse bands than this. I would not put Simple Plan in a category of a bad band. Just music that's not for me. That's all I'd say. With those reviews, our reviews, their reviews, Amazon's reviews, there's only one question left to ask. Would we recommend seeing Simple Plan's No Pads, No Helmets, Just Balls at When We Were Young?
For me, I feel like I've seen them a lot of times. And if they weren't against a band that I already really wanted to see, like more so like a band I like always listen to or like an album play I've never seen live, I would go because I really do enjoy their live shows. Their performances are always so much fun. Like, it doesn't matter. They always put on a fantastic show. But I feel like listening to it more in full, it's stuff that, yeah, I think it's fun for the time. I could put it on in the background and just like, clean my house or whatever. But it's not something I would want to maybe sit through a full set for, but I would want to sit through a regular Simple Plan set any day of the week. Yeah,
that's kind of where I'm conflicted here because I know the singles and I know that they're going to put on a good show. So I would watch them play, and most of them are near the beginning of the record. So of course that's going to be an easy place to just like see it and at least stay for the beginning of it. I think that seeing everybody singing Perfect would be really funny. I just think that'd be really funny to see like a whole group of people at a festival grounds like singing that. I'm open-minded to watching the set. I don't like a lot of the songs, so it's one of those things where it's like, if it's by the main stage and there's no other band playing and I'm going to watch it because I'm waiting for the next band, I'm not going to be disappointed that I'm watching a band perform very well. But I mean, this is not a record that I am very much into that I would want to listen to again anytime soon. So if it's like, hey, you're going to stand here and watch the whole album, I would say, no, I'm good. I'm going to go to anything else.
Okay.
Something else probably. Those are our thoughts. Were we right? Were we wrong? Are you okay? Let us know down in the comments how you felt about this review, whether you're going to see them at When You Were Young or whether you've seen them elsewhere and you're tired of seeing I'm Just a Kid live all the time. Make sure to subscribe. We're going through every one of these records. You want to be in the know when these come out. We got a whole playlist of all of them on our channel. Make sure to check it out and subscribe and follow and like and comment and argue. Simple Plan, no pads, no helmets, just balls. When We Were Young, 2024. We'll see you there.